Hey guys, Elijah here. So we had an issue. This studio's wiring is not adequate for what we need power for. To give you an example, everything's falling. Um, all of this on our green screen and um, all of this, we need power for that. We need power for all of this. Pardon my mess here. I've got stuff everywhere. Need power for all of this. Um, that, the power up here. All the lights here. Speakers. Um, Audio system. The whole 9 yards. Lighting. Um, Digital sign, etc., etc., etc. So, I am going to have to. Pardon me. I am going to have to rewire some things. Um, and I'm going to have to create a new service panel. Um, because our service panel that we have in the box, number one, it's from 1978. It's ancient. It is not going to handle this kind of power. Number two, it is a 30 amp, 120 volt single phase system. When we have available to us a service of 220 volts, two phases, 60 amps, so that's enough to power an entire house. So here's what I have done. I have gone ahead and I have purchased a new service panel. Nice metal thick service panel. And I have purchased, well, this is not going down, but okay, that'll stay open now. This right here is the place for the breakers to go. This is your ground and neutral bar. What you do is you put your main right here. Oops, right here. I'm blind. Put your main right here, and your power comes in here, your main hot. You can put another main right here, and that's going to come in. That's going to be for your secondary phase right there. I'm only using one right now, so I'm not going to put a secondary here. But then you've got two that can come up here. You've got one circuit here, one circuit here. You can bring in one here, and you can bring in one here. So basically, the bus bar is connected right here. It's not connected here. So we're going to have, yes, it is connected here. This one is going to be solid all the way across, all of these, and that's going to provide power. We're going to put our main power in here, and then we're going to be able to continue it on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this panel in. I'm going to install this panel up there in the utility room, and I am a certified electrician. I've got an electrician's license. I'm up to date on NFPA and NEC codes. And we are going to, this is a Siemens box. These are Siemens breakers. These are 20 amp for our subsidiary circuits. I do have another panel. This is going to be our main. That's a 30. And then we've got one more. So we're doing 4 circuits. We're doing 3 circuits and a main. All right. So basically how these work is I'm sorry, I've got to pause this video and stop recording for a second. I am cooking alive in this coat, so bear with me. I'll be right back. So basically this is going to be a sub panel, sub-service feed coming off of the main line. There's another breaker set outside that we're going to go ahead and turn off the main power for the entire system. It means everything in here is going to come off, and then we're going to go ahead and install this box. So before I install this box, I want to make sure that all the breakers are set up in order and ready to go. So that's what I'm doing now. So I wanted to show you guys this, and this is going to be a pretty quick video because I'm not going to go into the actual panel here and show you the actual install. That is the cable for my camera. So basically I'll hold this. Sorry if it's shaky. So basically how these work is they should stab in, and where we want this, so our main power feed is coming in right here. So we're gonna go here, and this one should just stab on like that. That's your main. This lug is actually going to be switched by this breaker, and so is everything over here. We're probably not going to need this lug because everything's coming in right here. Okay? These are also energized by this. The way this works is we go ahead and we put these in. There's one circuit right there. And we stab it on. And that makes a tight connection. There's another connection there. That's for a circuit. That's off. That's on. On. Off. That's the entire system off right there. That 30. That's on. That's one side of it. That's just the subsurface. So we're only using one phase in this box. So then we've got another one here. And we're going to connect it here. Oops. Got to get there. Get it in the right place here. Okay, and we're going to stab it in. Make sure everything's tight because you don't want any arcing. Okay? And this right here is going to be connected to this also. That way we have one straight circuit. And that way everything is going to be connected across. So this needs to be connected to here with some heavy gauge wire. And that's just going to come around the bottom. And then we've got one more circuit. And we're going to go here. We're going to stab it in. And that's how these work is, you see that bar right there? It just stabs onto this. So we've got 320 amp circuits. Obviously, if all of them are pulling 20 amps respectively together, then they will trip this 30 amp breaker. That's a safety. And then if you are pulling more than 20 amps on any one of these circuits, then this circuit will obviously trip, right? So that's how that works. Your power comes in from the top. One side, the hot, actually comes in here. It's going to energize this bus. This bus is going to energize this bus and this, because this is connected to this bus. This bus is also going to be energized, and this is going to control these two breakers here. So you want to have a heavy enough wire going between here and here for your loop back to energize both buses, because it's designed for 2 phases, not 1. So you can run it 1 phase. You're just going to have to connect that bus bar right there. Goes right there. That's what those lugs are for. So then we're going to draw. Power's going to come into this 30 amp. It's going to come out this 20 amp. This is also going to be energized by that bus through this breaker. The breaker is going to energize this. It's going to come out through here to one of the circuits. This right here is going to be energized by this also. This is going to energize these, and a circuit's going to be there. Energize this, circuit's going to be there. So we've got 3 circuits in this breaker that we're creating for this sub panel, and one of them is going to go for this set of lights up here, overhead light, and then another one is going to be going, whoops, okay, we've lost our camera. Alright, we're back on. Sorry about that. I tilted the camera up and the camera didn't like it. So we're going to have one set that's going to be going towards this row of lights here. And we're going to have one that's going to be coming down to here. That's going to be powering all these monitors. And then we're going to have one that's going to be powering the amplifier for all of this. Oops, Going to be powering the amplifier for all this. And we're going to have one that's going to be powering just these and the back row. So that one's most likely not going to have a whole lot of draw on it, but I want it on a separate one because I want there to be as little load on these as possible. So I haven't decided which one's going to be which yet. So I will go ahead and shut down the power here, and then I will go ahead and make some changes to and install this service panel. Okay, and then I'm going to date it and label everything, and that way we have a working sub panel. Alright, anyways, I don't know, I'm probably going to go ahead and continue the gaming series for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach as well, but I'm going to go ahead and take a little break from that for right now, because while it's fun, it just like gives me a heart attack every time I try to play it. And then like we want to do the podcast also, so if I'm constantly uploading videos for that, then Troy and I don't get the podcast. So you know, we still got to record an episode of the podcast. It'd be season 1, episode 3, and I don't know how many seasons we want to put in, or how many episodes we want to put in a season. It's just, it varies, and it just depends. Hey guys, so I am back after 3 hours of work. All the lights are back on, and here's the old breaker box. Whoops, there's the old breaker box. Here's the old breakers. So I guess they were running 15s, but they were running these old ITE ones. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, ITE. These are they're trying to look here. Type EO or EQP. These are from 1978, and this is the old breaker box. And the way these worked is they've got a stabby here that basically just stabs on just like the other one did. And basically there's 2 sets. There's a 15. Okay, so there's a 15 and there's a 30 here. This is a 30. That was the main, and that just sat here like this, and it stabbed on there. And then right there, you can see where the circuit came out. This one goes in, it stabs on. Well, that's not the right way. This one goes in, and it stabs onto this contactor right here. You see how it's red right here? Now, there's supposed to be 4. You see this right here? This right here? And this right here? These two breakers were good. There's supposed to be one right here and one right here. But because some idiot took off the cover for the panel and never replaced it, these were allowed to be able to come loose, kind of like that, and just sit there and arc and arc and arc and arc. And I was smelling smoke, and things were getting hot. And so what I did was I ripped this breaker box out, took everything else off of it. I even borrowed my ground lug, because this is your neutral lug right here. And then on this side over here, there was a grounding lug. So I borrowed the grounding lug from this one. What these do is they just stab onto here, like so, and they're pretty solid on there. Well, what somebody failed to do was they failed to, you see, this right here, for instance, this breaker was right here in line. You see how hot that got? And that's from the other breaker. That's not from this breaker. You see where it got hot and melted? That's how hot this thing got. This one goes here. Now, what it also did was, now see, this one won't even stab on here anymore. This one won't even stab on here anymore because this is so melted. And you can see just how hot that actually got if my camera will focus. You see that? That was going to cause a fire if it wasn't in the box. There's another one there where it looks like they switched out the breaker and it did the same thing. But what they had was a 20 amp, a tandem breaker on this thing. So what they did was they had stabbed that on there like that, and it was the wrong breaker, and it ended up being unable to contact there, and so it was arcing that whole time. See, just like this. You see how it won't go on there? It's supposed to go all the way up in there. I'll show you on this side. It's supposed to go all the way up in there. And when you're drawing 40 amps or 20 amps and then another 20 amps in a tandem, here, I'll show you how this is supposed to be. It's supposed to go on that, and that just kind of a hook like that. That hooks into here. Hook it on there, and you're supposed to be able to clamp that all the way down like so. And it's just supposed to be really tough to push, you know, and you push it all the way down just like that. That's how that's supposed to work. One that they had on here, actually this is the tandem that they had on here. That is not the right breaker. That's the tandem 20 amp. And you can see that contact is actually not even there anymore. That little contactor that was there, it actually arced so badly that it melted away. Those are 220s in tandem. This is a, again, an ITE, but it's for a different box. It's not for this box. And this is the main reason why I replaced this breaker box. You can see the, well, if my camera would focus, and it's not good at focusing. Maybe. I don't know. Nope, my camera doesn't want to focus. Okay, let's do this. Maybe it'll focus now? Yeah. That's the EQT circuit breaker. Used only in listed enclosures. See carton. For patent notice, ITE Imperial Core Corporation, Philadelphia, PA, made in USA. That is very important right there. Use only in listed enclosures. What somebody did was they didn't want to buy another breaker like this, and so they bought this from somewhere or found it somewhere and just went and jammed things in there. This is what happens when you buy a fifth wheel camper for $500 at an auction. So this is bad. This right here, this is really bad. So out with the old breaker box. This one won't even go on here anymore. I mean, it might lock it. No. Yeah, that's not even going to lock in place anymore. There's nothing to hold it on this side. The clamp is gone. So, yep. Now the studio has power. Everything's on a dedicated circuit. All the lighting, everything else. So, all the lighting, everything's on a dedicated circuit. The side over there is actually still in that cabinet is a 120 volts, 30 amp, single phase. And then I've got another sub panel that I'm getting ready to put in the kitchen over here on the other side of this. That is a 220 volt two phase, 60 amp, which is actually two 120 volt single phases. But then if you combine them minus the neutral, it's actually 220 volts, 60 amps. So you can power a lot more stuff with that. You can actually, but I haven't built the circuits for it yet, so this may be beneficial in the future if we want to be able to power more things, but honestly, this should be fine. We're using space heaters, like I've got a space heater here, and then Got the electric fireplace down there, and then I got another electric fireplace up by my bed in the loft, and then there's a heat tape to keep the pipes from freezing in the kitchen. So there's multiple devices that are actually drawing power from outside at the podium that I need to incorporate into a sub panel so that I can rewire and make things a little more easy to have power and get power to, because we're using a secondary, it's called I think they call it the landing, I don't know, on a camper, but certified for residential, commercial, and industrial electrical. So I've been putting it off for a really long time, and so I went ahead and installed it, because now this also, this right here, I bought another one of these for the landing to come in, and what this does is it pinches that wire, and it keeps it from pulling out, and there's a big wire that comes out of the box. But as boogered up as this is, yeah, I didn't want to reuse it. I just bought a new one and put on it. So the other half of it's somewhere over there. I don't know where. It's in the cabinet probably. But yeah, these old breakers, see, they're supposed to contact real nice like that. They're supposed to be tight. But you're supposed to take some effort to pull them. But the other problem with this is when they forgot to put the panel back on this that covers this, these were loose, and they jammed the wrong breaker in there, this guy, and then he was arcing, and it basically fried these posts here. And there was only one circuit. Now, there are 4 circuits that power this entire camper. This is your main. There should be... This one was powering the computer that I'm recording this on right now, that I use to record my games and everything also. Anything for 85 Studios for this studio. The one that was here, this one, was sitting like this. And what it did was it powered... That's not even going to go back on. This thing's so trashed. But yeah, this thing here, it was to the point where it would wobble like this because it had melted so much. And actually the screw is gone out of it too now. You can see this one was, there's actually only 4 circuits in this camper. One of them is tied into this right here. This is your main. One was tied into this as 2 circuits on a 15 amp breaker. The one that was for the entire east wall was here, and the one for the AC was right here. So 4 circuits total. So yeah, I think we'll be a lot happier with that, because no smoke, no fire hazard, no freaking yeah, because it was getting bad. It was getting to the point where, see, I use this computer for my job. I actually work from home, and this computer was not able to get power from the east wall because that breaker was bad, and it was controlling the east wall. And then I had to actually divert power from across the other side using an extension cord to be able to power this guy. So he doesn't use much power. He's an iMac, but he's got to have power, and it was causing the power to disconnect while I was on the phone with my customers, making my calls and stuff. So no, you got to have constant power. And that's, again, I had to reroute off of this breaker because this breaker was no good. Anyway, that's done. It's been a hell of a job. It looks good, it works good, and we're all set. So, oh, and these 2 terminals here were actually they used a I think it was a 14 AWG wire to bind them together, to bridge them. And I'm sorry, but if you have uh, a load on that is 20 amps, and then you have another load over here that's 20 amps, um, yeah, or two loads here that are 20 amps, and or a 14 AWG wire is not going to cut that, and that's another reason why we got all this residue here and all this burn here, because it got hot. It got really hot. So, yeah. Anyways, I've rambled on enough probably for this video. At some point, let's get back to gaming and the podcast, and I gotta get a camcorder because my camcorder is just shot. And besides that, I found out that it's not a true 4K camera. I was kind of pissed because I paid like 200 bucks for it, and it turned out it was a Chinese knockoff. So I'm gonna get an actual camera up in here, and I think I'm gonna go with most likely a oh, I don't know, something name brand. Might be a little bit more money, but it'd be worth it because you get a good picture and good sound and everything. None of these cheap Chinese junk cameras that you get off of Amazon and eBay. Anyways, you take care, guys. Don't do electrical on your own in your own home unless you are certified to do so and know exactly what you're doing, because you will either short something out, harm yourself, or cause a fire. Okay? I'm telling you that now. Anybody who does this because I've done this or anything like that, I am a certified electrician. I have a degree. I have multiple certificates that say that I know what I'm doing. And even then, I don't like doing it on my own because the insurance on that and that kind of stuff, it's not for business. So if you freaking screw up, then it's your A on the line and it's not going to be like insured or anything like that. But follow NEC code, follow NFPA guidelines, National Electric Code, and National Fire Prevention Association. UL listed everything, and know what you're doing before you do it. A YouTube tutorial, I would not trust. So, just telling you that now. Anyways, take care, guys. Peace out, and be true to yourselves. We have power, baby. I'm so stupid. I give up. Bye, guys. It's ridiculous.